Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, where we bring you the latest and most exciting sports news every single day. If you love the Detroit Lions like we do, then buckle up, because today's story could reveal a hidden turning point for this team's future in the trenches, and hardly anyone is talking about it. We've got a special one for you. It's about the kind of player that doesn't usually make headlines. A Day 3 draft pick. A lineman. No viral clips. No flashy combined performance. Just a football player through and through. But what if I told you that this player might be exactly the kind of under-the-radar talent that championship teams quietly build around? Let's talk about Miles Frasier, the fifth-round pick out of LSU, who just might end up being one of the most important names in the Detroit Lions 2025 draft class. Now, before you scroll away thinking fifth-round guard, who cares? Let me stop you right there. Because what we're about to share with you doesn't come from some anonymous scout or clickbait website. It comes from one of the most respected, experienced, and brutally honest film analysts in the entire NFL ecosystem, Greg Kosell. For those unfamiliar, and if you're watching this channel, chances are you already know, Kosell is the executive producer of NFL Matchup, a senior producer at NFL Films, and perhaps more importantly for Lions fans, a guy who's been breaking down Detroit's draft classes for over a decade. He's not here to sell hope. He's not here to hype players just because they're wearing Honolulu blue. He watches the film, all of it, and gives his take with zero fluff. And guess what? He's now done it for the 13th year in a row. That's 13 years of dissecting every Lions draft class, and this year, he had some very interesting things to say about Miles Frasier. Now, Kosell didn't evaluate all 7 Lions picks in detail this year. He focused on 5, but Frasier made that cut. And there's a reason for that. So let's break this down. Frasier was taken at pick 171 overall, and at first glance, nothing about that pick jumps off the page. He didn't blow up the combine. He didn't make first team All-SEC. But when Kosell popped in the tape from Frasier's 2024 season at LSU, he saw something different. Something important. Kosell describes Frasier as having a big frame with solid mass and a thick, dense build. In other words, this guy looks like an NFL interior offensive lineman. Not only that, but he's got good arm length, which is a key factor for guards when dealing with longer defensive tackles and blitzing linebackers. He's not just built for the position, he moves like it too. Let's start with pass protection. According to Kosell, Frasier shows strong technique and awareness. He gets out of his stance quickly, sets a stable base, and plays with good body control. That alone puts him ahead of many prospects at the same position. But it's the next part that's more exciting. Kosell says Frasier shows efficient mirror ability with his lateral movement, which means he's capable of staying in front of defenders without lunging or losing his balance. That's gold in the NFL. He also showed what Kosell calls accelerated vision. He recognizes stunts and pressure packages and reacts appropriately. That might sound basic, but remember, we're talking about a rookie fifth-rounder. Mental processing at that level is rare this early. In the run game, Frasier is described as a forceful down blocker. He brings power from his lower half and keeps his feet moving to sustain blocks. That's what coaches call finishing. He's not just hitting his assignment, he's moving him. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. Frasier isn't just a one-scheme fit. Kosell says he's been used as a puller in gap schemes and has shown lateral movement in zone concepts. That kind of versatility is huge for the Lions, who mix their run calls often and expect linemen to adjust on the fly. Whether it's executing a frontside reach or climbing to the second level in combo blocks, Frasier has shown he can do it, and do it with functional power. But of course, it's not all sunshine and roses. Kosell points out that Frasier isn't a plus athlete. His lateral agility and ability to redirect against explosive interior defenders are a concern. And there's one detail that raised some eyebrows: his hand size. Just 9 inches. That's very small for an offensive lineman. For context, many NFL teams prefer guards with hands closer to 10.25 or even 11 inches. Small hands can affect grip strength, punch placement, and overall ability to control defenders in tight spaces. On top of that, there's a tendency in the run game for Frasier to come off the ball too high, which reduces his leverage and power on initial contact. That's a correctable issue with coaching, but it does explain why he may have fallen to the 5th round. And yet, Kosell ends his breakdown with this. Frasier's 2024 tape showed all the needed attributes demanded to develop into a quality starting offensive guard at the next level. Let that sink in. Not backup. Not spot starter. Not camp body. A quality starting offensive guard. And that brings us to the million-dollar question. What does this mean for the Lions? Could Frasier be the long-term successor to Jonah Jackson if contract negotiations hit a snag? Is he part of the plan to build depth in case of injuries, especially in a division that's increasingly loading up on interior pass rushers? Could the Lions be developing him slowly this year, knowing full well he might be starting in 2026? Fans are starting to ask, is this another Brad Holmes special? A mid-round steal who doesn't make noise on draft weekend but ends up playing a critical role a year or two down the line. It's possible. It's very possible. And there's precedent. Just look at guys like Halapoulivaati Vaitai, Evan Brown, or even Graham Glasgow, players who weren't top picks but carved out meaningful careers on Detroit's line through toughness, coaching, and development. Frasier may not be ready to start tomorrow, but with his competitive attitude and physical edge, he may be the kind of guy who thrives in the Lions culture. Let's not forget, Dan Campbell loves players like this. Gritty, underrated, nasty finishers, guys who want to bury defenders into the dirt. Frasier plays with that energy, that fire. Could this be the next fan favorite in the trenches? So we ask again, is Miles Frasier just another depth piece, or is he something much bigger in the making? Could this be the quiet beginning of a long-term starting career? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. When someone like Greg Kosell gives you this kind of endorsement, you'd be crazy not to pay attention. But what do you think? Do you believe Miles Frasier has what it takes to start in the NFL? Or are there just too many red flags, small hands, lack of elite athleticism for him to really break through? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I seriously can't wait to read what you all have to say. As for me, I'm fired up. I love when the Lions go after these tough blue-collar guys on day 3. It shows they're not just chasing flash, they're building a football team. And if Frasier lives up to even half of what Kosell sees on tape, Detroit might have just struck gold at pick 171. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives just like it, do us a huge favor, hit that like button, subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We've got more breakdowns, more insider analysis, and more bold predictions coming all off season long. Until next time, stay passionate, stay smart, and as always, go Lions!